Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jaylee. This is JayLeesCorner. Happy Monday. I hope everyone had a great weekend. I had a great weekend. And we're going to get into the Housewives of Atlanta Season 16 Reunion Episode Part 1. Okay. Child, why there's gonna be 3 episodes? It's gonna be a 3-part reunion. And I mean, I don't know why, because we kind of went over everything today that happened in the season. I don't know if they're cutting and pasting things, and we'll get more later. We know that the guys will be coming out as well. Probably that's probably gonna be in episode part 3 of the reunion, but I digress. Okay, now first things first, if you have not done so already, be sure to do what? Like the video, subscribe to my channel. Okay, you can also follow me on social media at JayLeesCorner on IG, Twitter, and TikTok. Okay, you can also be sure to do what? Comment in the comment section and also share this video. Okay, now I'm gonna be on camera because I've been gone for a minute. Now I know you look, yes, it's my same fetch sweatshirt, but it was on the chair. And so I put it on. Okay. Anyway, look, I did not take any notes for this reunion. I do like my thumbnail. Okay. I made sure I didn't take no notes, but I watched it twice to remember what I wanted to discuss. Okay. I got some good pictures, and I feel like I put people in the order and I felt like they was on the reunion. Okay. I think this is a big, Porsha versus everyone, her and Drew, her and Kelli, okay, even her and Shamia, and a little bit of her and Angela, okay. Phaedra is just over there with a big head, with a big old thing on her head, okay, and Cynthia is just there for a check. Okay, we didn't need Cynthia. Okay, we did not need her at all. Not today, not ever. And both Drew and Kelli gave the best reads to Porsha. Okay. Porsha wants to be the main cast member, the main thing, the HBIC, okay, the most divorced among the crew or whatever. I don't know. Because she's been divorced twice, and so has Cynthia. Okay, but no, yeah, she was, yeah, it was two for. My point is, I felt like it was very unevenly, put about how the season went and how the reunion went as well. Now, look at this, okay? Why are there 2 people on this couch? For what and for why? And you got 4 on the other side. Now, I will say, now we've already fully went over the looks, I think twice, because the looks came out earlier, whatever, and then the reunion clip came out, and we discussed that too. But I was like, I will say this: sitting down, I don't like Portia's dress. Sitting down, it looks real weird. Her boobies are up too high. The split is very high. She kept having to pull the dress over her because she was naked from the waist down. She kept having to pull it over. I didn't like that much. I feel like sitting down, I liked Drew's dress. I still don't like her. I think the hair is too much. The hair is too much. Sitting down, I think Angela looks the best. I think Shamia's boobies are child thick. That's that thick babe. You know what I'm saying? Kelli dress still looks a bit of a mess because I don't know, but Kelly's so small. She's so small. But the dress does not look as bad sitting down as it did standing up because you can't see that long weird thing down. Okay, but again, 2 on one side, 4 on the other. To me, was dumb. Okay, now the first 15 or so minutes or whatever you see, oh, they're arriving at like 6:30. They got there at 6:30. They were supposed to start filming at 9. They didn't start filming until noon. They were so supposed to start filming at 9. Drew got there at 10. I said, bitch, if y'all supposed to start filming at 9 o'clock, why girl, you late. Now I don't know if they were waiting because Britt did not show up. So part of me feel like because Britt wasn't there and they was probably figuring out what was going on with Britt, maybe everyone was on a delay. Okay, but they eventually figured out, oh, Britt ain't coming. Child, they showed Faye to go look in Britt room. They showed Cynthia like, what Britt? What Britt? She ain't here. Let's call her. They call her. She don't answer. We know she didn't show up. I digress. But once they realized, because to me, the seating chart was probably supposed to be Britt was probably supposed to sit next to Phaedra. And then because Cynthia was a friend of, she would end up sitting on the end. However, once they knew that Britt was not coming, why did y'all not just put Kelli on the other couch? Just to make it be even. And maybe once Cynthia came out, if you want to move Kelli over, cool. But there was no reason, girl. They ended up bringing out a friend of. Cynthia is a friend of. Okay, so much so y'all see, I don't have it down here. We don't need around here. Okay, because Cynthia, I like Cynthia, love her to death. Okay, hi Cynthia. She gave nothing. I mean, a good wig, a bright dress, but nothing. Okay, now that's why on the thumbnail she's so small right there. Her and yeah, because Shamia didn't say much either. She was fussing a little bit with Porsha, but not that much either. Okay, anyway, because they brought Cynthia out, and Cynthia sat next to Phaedra, but they only did that because Britt wasn't there, and it was uneven. It was 4-2, but move Kelli over, because Kelli has no static with Porsha, which in turn may cause static with Phaedra. However, they can fuss next to each other. Anyway, now Britt and Kenya was missing. And um I feel like they are the elephants in the room. I really wish they would have brought Kenya. I really wish they would have included Kenya. Because had they included Kenya, we wouldn't have this issue because Kenya would have been there. And it wouldn't have been a damn empty seat sitting around there. That's the crazy ass Fader. Now who put that on her head? Now Phaedra said, "Well, I was trying to like." They went to the what they call job? Wherever they went on their trip, and they had the little what was it called? Is it the jab? Them in that all black paint, that stuff. She said, "I'm being like them." I say, "Girl, don't do that no more." I don't know who put that football helmet on her head. Okay, with them door knocking earrings. Okay, I don't know who told her yes. This is the thing too. It's a no. It was a no for me. Anyway, they're talking about how Brit isn't there. They just again, I didn't know because I felt like it was a bunch of nothingness. It was a bunch of back and forth. It's like were they making things up as they went? Brit not being there, Kelli been her good friend. They even asked Kelli about you was supporting her when she brought up some baby that Charles had on Angela. Did you regret that? She's like, well, no, not at the time. I was being a friend. I wasn't being messy. I was a friend. If my friend is beefing with you, I'm on my friend's side. In hindsight, I'm sorry that I, supported the bullshit. I've already said sorry to Angela. So that's what it is. They asked not Britt, they asked Kelli about, the whole stylist beef between her and Britt. Now, Porsha kept saying, I don't want to speak for Britt because she's not here. But Britt has said that it was some jealousy. Okay, but you would say you were jealous of Kelli said, no, there's nothing that Britt has that I want. Okay. The truth of the matter is when the show started, the whole Kenya thing happened. Britt did not have no stylist, no team. I did. And she also brought up, I had a team, a stylist, glam, and all that before the show. I already had a team. This team wasn't for the show. So because Britt did not have that as a friend, I said, cool, I'll lend you my stylist for a little second, not for you to use them all the time, not for you to try to take all of them. And that's what she accuses Britt of doing. Britt went around there and tried to steal all her people. And even her bringing up the whole, thing that Britt brought up, the abortions. And Kelli said, my body, my choice. Okay. However, I never had any kind of conversation with Britt about any kind of we've never ever discussed that, but I know where it came from. And she said the stylist people must have said something to Britt. She said, but even that wasn't a true conversation. She said, after I had my twins, her twins have some kind of something, not a deformity, but there's some kind of ailment to them that they have. And she said once she had her twins, because of whatever the ailment was that the girls had, she decided then to get a tube size. So I can't even have kids. Now, did Kelli possibly have a chop shop situation before the twins? It's possible. I think her point was I never told that to Britt. After I had my twins, I never aborted the baby. You know what I'm saying? But I think her point was my glam team, who's not working with her, is feeding her information about me that's not even accurate. So she got that secondhand comment from somewhere. But again, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, my body, my choice. But I didn't take, because Britt did make it seem as if she had like direct information from Kelli that she did that, and that was not accurate or factual. So she also brings up her and Kelli, her and Britt will not be friends again. I say, girl, fine. Okay. Um, I don't think anyone else addressed anything Britt liked at all. They really did not discuss Kenya, at least not in this section. But I do feel like both of their presence was not both, at least Kenya's presence. Even when Kelli said how Britt said things and child threw fire bombs at the friendships, and she's not here to fix nothing, to comment on nothing, to what I'm saying, defend whatever she said. I think Shami even said, Britt said stuff that wasn't true, and I wish she was here for us to have it out, but she isn't, because Britt's a runner. She's a track star. Okay, she does not want to address anything. And the fact that she still to this day, has not filed the actual lawsuits. Now, Drew did say, well, she did send me, I got some information that she was supposedly going to try to sue me, because she was upset about some things that Kenya put on the poster boards. Now, I think some folks feel like Drew gave Kenya the nude pictures of Britt, which we know now wasn't Britt. I think the insurance fraud stuff is what came from Drew. I don't think Drew gave her the explicit photos of whoever that was. I think Drew's information may have been the insurance fraud allegations against Britt, and that may be what it is. But they didn't really discuss what. I think later on in the reunion, Andy would ask her directly, did you give Kenya that thing? I think she probably told me, they're going to be fraud insurance. Okay. Anyway, and they also asked Kelli, do you know what she does? Kelli said, not really. Like nothing ever panned out to what she did. I don't know. Okay. So that was really all it was with them. Okay. Now, there was a lot of friction between Shamia and Porsha, as far and not even them two going at each other on any real basis, but if Porsha fussing with Drew, and then Drew said what Shamia said, or Porsha is having a discussion with Aaron. Well, Shamia said you would see this friction between Porsha and Shamia, whereas look, when they brought up there was an alliance. There was an alliance between Shamia, Britt, Kelli, and apparently Porsha. Porsha was denying she was a part of any alliance because alliances kill shows. I would not do no alliance. But Shamia said, yeah, you did. You was. And it was, yes, you was. You was in this alliance. It was us. Okay. And when I told Britt and Kelli, y'all should get to know Porsha, whatever, blah, 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 blah. It was them kind of calling each other a liar. Even when Angela brought up how the whole, Porsha want to fuck Charles, and excuse me, she said, well, what, because Angela has said that, you know what I'm saying, I stole the lady hug. She said, no, 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 no. What I said was after you mentioned my husband, I did say you about you and taking your husband, but but that's because Shamia said she introduced y'all. Now Shamia then denied that she said it. I didn't introduce Porsha and Simon. I didn't introduce them. That wasn't me. They like, well, yes, you said it. So again, you then have Shamia and Porsha, kind of, because Shamia's denying saying it. When Andy asked Porsha, did Shamia hook y'all up? Well, I, like she didn't just kind of say no. And when Andy clocked that T, and Andy said, did y'all have an agreement to make it seem as if Shamia introduced y'all, so no one would feel like got him, in some kind of. I feel like I remember Shamia saying, I told you to talk to him. Shamia had in the past insinuated she was the reason they got together. Maybe she did not directly introduce them. However, it does seem as if she played a role in them getting together, because she said it in one way or the other. Even in the show where they ran back tape, and she did not say verbatim, I introduced them, but she did say I was there when they met. I was there doing them like I was there the whole time. So interpretation. But in between all of this happening, you see this kind of bickering of Porsha and Shamia, where let me talk. No, let me talk. Girl, they want to cut each other off, and there is this day. Even when Porsha walked on set, Shamia was like they not cool, and it's fine. I don't care. But it was a lot of, and even with Phaedra, she didn't really do nothing here at all. She just sat where she at. She just sat next to Porsha with a helmet on. That's it. You know, now kind of one by one, it was Porsha versus somebody. Even when Andy asked about her and Simon and their divorce or whatever, I don't really want to discuss Simon for legal reasons. He said, "Well, ain't you the same and nice?" Well, yeah, that's true, but I don't want to discuss nothing. Okay, so with Porsha and her accusing Drew of messing with Dennis, she like, well, no, I know she did. I know she did now, but I just felt some kind of way. And she kept using this. I was going through a divorce. Seems girl, you was going through one, Drew going through one, and so was Kelli. So every time she played this role, like, oh my God, I was just so, you're going through the same thing they were, but you can't be a bitch to them. So Porsha, to me, plays mean girl. She plays victim. She's a sneaky little mean girl. Okay, meaning I'm gonna be a bitch all season. I'm gonna come on the reunion and say, I just want to clear the air with Aaron. I want to have honest intentions and honest conversations. I want to get girl, miss me with the bullshit. And when they show like the montage of the season, and they included, Lonnie passed away, I feel like, and this don't look. I'm gonna say it, and I said it. A part of me feel like. And I'm not saying Porsha is not sad that her cousin died. Not saying that. I'm saying a part of me feel like Porsha is using that for sympathy. I lost my husband and my cousin, and no tea, no shade. We didn't know Lonnie from this show. We seen Lonnie on this show maybe once in a background role, planning an event. We met her on the other show that had one season. So I feel like don't make it seem like someone we seen her have this great relationship with died, and no, we don't know her like that. We don't. And her and Lonnie had issues anyway. But seeing her, I get so, give me a minute. Give me a minute. A part of me feel like she used Lonnie's death as a bit for sympathy. And again, I'm not saying she don't love her cousin and that you don't miss her cousin. I'm not saying it. What I'm saying, you know, we covered it as if that was something that played out on this show. All we seen Lonnie one time at that pamper out Porsha putting the sheets down, and then we heard Porsha on a FaceTime call saying she died. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, girl, may she rest in peace, and may the family grieve as easily as grief can bestow upon peoples. But I don't need to see Porsha, reliving, telling folk Lonnie passed away, because we don't know her on the show. Okay. But I was going through so much, I got the divorce, and her and Simon had a 9 month prenup time span. First of all, the fact that it took y'all 9 months to generate and sign a prenup, and he still has stuff that you did not know about at the end of the marriage. Who was your lawyer, Phaedra? Ronald McDonald? The Hamburglar? Who was it? Bernie from Bernie? Who was it? Because how within 9 months all of this stuff did not come up? And even Porsha and Shamia have a bit of conversation where Shamia said, me and Gerald, Shamia's husband, we mentioned to you, like, maybe his money may not come from here. Do your due diligence. Okay, so I don't get how Shamia on one hand said, I love them as a couple together. But on the other hand, saying we kept trying to tell you, hey, make sure you, because I'm not happy my friend was some man, and I'm also saying, hey, that man may not be all the way legal. I can't be happy for my friend in a relationship if I also feel like that man may be a scheme scam. I can't do that. So both Phaedra and not Phaedra, both Porsha and Shamia both saying how, well, yeah, Shamia, her husband, did warn me, or try to warn me to do to look into the but it took 9 months to get a prenup, and girl, that wasn't due diligence, because clearly it did not work. And she brought up how they signed the prenup. She said the house was bought pre-marriage, but due to the prenup, it then became marital property, and that's the only thing she got in the divorce. She got the house, the car. Now, when she kept trying to compare her divorce to Kelly's divorce, it aggravated me, because when Kelly said, "Girl, you were married 11 months. I was married 11 years. We don't compare. That's apples and oranges. Okay, it doesn't compare. Peaches and pineapple. It doesn't compare. Don't try to compare my divorce to yours. But Kelly, I was going through a tough divorce. We talked. We both said our ex was putting stuff in the girl. That don't mean nothing. If both exes at the current time was putting stuff out in the media, whatever. Kelly's right. I had an 11-year marriage with this man. I gave birth to three of his children. He was also a stepfather to my daughter, who's for 11 years. Simon wasn't in your life to the level of my ex-husband. Then when they brought up Kelly's spending habits, and they brought up how Kelly has the bodyguard, and Porsche gonna say, well, it's two different reasons. One, because supposedly the ex-husband, it's becoming far, whatever, but also because I heard, what I'm saying, that it's for the show. That the husband don't want her and come for her, Porsha. So on one breath you say y'all talked about how y'all exes were the same, taking y'all through bullshit. But now you want to say she's faking her ex being dangerous for the show, even though before the show came on there was allegations of him being abusive to her. So what? Porsha out here. What is that? Hold on. Porsha is out here doing the men dirty work, because you're trying to downplay the abuse or just the disturbing situation that happened in Kelly's 11-year marriage, because your 11-month marriage is getting questioned. You consistently bring up the things the men have said about the women as if the women are lying. Because what we are out going through a divorce, you know what I'm saying? So what woman who's going through a divorce and they know how vindictive the men can be will try to throw that on another woman in self-defense? And when Kelly said, well, who told you that? Who said that? Who told you my ex wasn't doing shit towards me and I only have security for the show? Who the fuck that came from? Okay. And she said, I would love to not be paying for security. I would love to not have to do that. Anyone who thinks I want to waste money, child, on security is fucking up. So again, Portia's a sneaky, mean girl. Okay. Period. Now they also got on Kelly's debts. Now Kelly, she said she spent 200 grand on a divorce. And she had not opened up her second location. She owed like 100 grand in back rent for the first her first restaurant location or whatever. Kelly, if you don't have the money to pay your lawyer fees and to pay the rent on your locations or whatever, you should not be buying your daughter all this designer thing. You can't afford it. You can't afford. Now, at one point, she took to me. I thought maybe Kelly did not want to open the second restaurant while still being legally married, so she, waited a little bit. I think by now it may be open or opening. I don't know, but she admitted, yes, I did owe 100 grand because I had a 200 grand fee for lawyers. Yes, my dog is has dog stuff. I pay for this and that and whatever, but it's all needed. She don't seem like she's strapped to cash, but Kelly, girl, if you can't afford it, stop it. If you can't afford it, stop it. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? I believe that was the most that happened between Kelly and them or whatever. But when Kelly told Porsche, girl, you with me 11 months, literally. And when when um they got about Porsha and Dennis, girl, Dennis be on my YouTube or whatever, we and that man, we be laughing and stuff. And Kelly said, all up in that man's house. I said, girl, but we all said that. We all said that we seen, Nazi Porsha and Dennis hang around the Simon house. So Kelly pointed out all up in that man's house, and Porsha said, well, who house? That's my house. Okay. Didn't you have to move out to our house? And Kelly said, no, I wanted to. And Kelly point being, yes, I had to sell my house, but I didn't want to be there with the other man. And Porsha, if you can afford the house, you're gonna have to sell it too. So again, Porsha is always trying to throw, daggers at people. That is that man's house. That's that man's house the same way he was that lady husband. You told us verbatim he bought the house before y'all got married. So it was his house. And even if you got it in a divorce, at one point in time, that was that man's house. But I digress, okay? And I like that Kelly was able to back up for Porsha and say, girl, shut the fuck up. Now, let's get to Drew. Now, Drew and Porsha, Dennis, blah, blah, blue. When Drew told Porsha, Simon says, you have no burner. I said, bitch, not Simon says. Because Drew had a valid point. Porsha, you knew I was not fucking with Dennis. You came on here coming at me because Simon says you had no other storyline. You were supposed to come back this season, have a big old storyline, and none of that should happen. And so your deductive skills said, you know what? Let me be for Drew. I can accuse her of banging Dennis, even though I keep saying I don't think she did, but I can say that on the show. And when Shamia tried to also like shine in, when Shamia was the one who asked Drew on episode one, either one or two, did you fucking Dennis? Which is, well, how'd you know? And the fact that they're still, even the Porter trying to jokingly say, well, Dennis showed me a text. I don't remember what Porsha, and Porsha said, I don't remember what Drew said, but Dennis said something like, I'm not gonna fuck you, Drew. I just want the money. So again, you want to make Dennis be this innocent, I don't want to fuck Drew person, but you want to make Drew out to be this dick hungry for the hot dog man, harlot, and for what? And the fact that, as Drew said, we worked. It was strictly business. Even when we were filming, it wasn't about you. And then when Shamia said, after some back and forth of it all, of all them talking between Drew and Porsha and Shamia, and when Porsha tried to make it seem as if, well, I told Shamia to not ask. I told Shamia, I need to co-parent with Dennis because I need him in my divorce to help me co-parent Pilar. And so I told Shamia to not ask Drew about her and Dennis. And she did anyway. And Shamia said, why are you lying? Because at that point, she had mentioned filming with Dennis before. You did. And to me, that shows Porsha and Shamia had a full conversation to go at Drew about that. Why? Because Porsha had nothing else. And Shamia is finally letting know you couldn't have been upset with Drew at that point because Drew had not talked about filming with him yet. It hadn't happened yet. And Drew said, right. And I'm again, I'm not Drew. Porsha is a sneaky ass mean girl because she used Drew all season to fuss at her. And then on this break, Drew, when Porsha got up and went over there, let's hug. Girl, don't hug the devil. Don't you ever hug the devil. Okay? Girl. It was all a lie. Guys, it was all a lie. She lied. The moment that Porsha got up on her hind legs and walked over there and tried to hug Drew, Drew.
That's suspicious.
Yeah, it's funny.
That's weird.
Because you had all season to do all of that. Okay? I feel like in this reunion, Porsha was fighting.
I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this.
And no one was letting her go off easy. Not Shamia, not Kelli, not Drew, not Angela. Not Cynthia. Shut the fuck up. Because when Cynthia tried to tell Drew, well, you should get it that, family, my baby daddy, like, shut up, Cynthia. Because anyone still trying to make it seem as if Drew was wrong is stupid. She put out a full project. Dennis is good in music. And it was just business. And Porsha keeps wanting to make it seem, I want to say sorry, Drew, because now that I watched that, I was in a bad space. I'm healing now. I'm healed now. But I was hurt, and every time I seen you, it triggered me. For what? Does Fallon trigger you? How the fuck did Drew? How? And because I need Dennis, I need him to go. Dennis ain't never went nowhere. Like, she make it seem as if once she got with Simon, Dennis went off to war. And all she had was Simon. Not as if even when she was with Simon, Dennis was still a full-time father to Pilar. He didn't go, so it's the fuck. And then to even try to, I need to lean on my baby daddy to help me heal from my divorce. That's stupid. Yes, you have to co-parent. Absolutely. But nothing should change because, anyway. Porsha full of shit. And I appreciate them not allowing her to play like, I don't know why they mad at me. I didn't do nothing. I did say I'll fuck the lady husband about Charles. I kept saying and insinuating that Drew was banging Dennis. But I was hurt. I'm going through a divorce. But so was Kelli and so was Drew. Girl, miss me with the bullshit again. I don't know what they did even here. Okay? At the all. Now, we get to Cynthia, not Cynthia. Porsha and Angela. And the point was, you mentioned my husband. Okay. And that's why I mentioned you fucking a lady husband. Okay. That's really it. They get into Phaedra and about this whole thing. Look, who sent that gay ass man to that event to say Charles is cheating? I personally feel like he made the shit up on his own. I do. However, I do feel like Phaedra was saying sneaky little snag shit all season, even though she only there for 2 weeks. But I feel like Angela still felt some friction from Phaedra. Excuse me. And thought it was Phaedra. But I do not think Angela set that gay man up to come on here and say whatever. I don't think it was her. I think because he was on some other like reality type of show or something. He's a messy ass man. A part of me feel like once he saw Angela believe this shit, he played along with it. Because she said, well, first he tried to make it seem as if it could have been Kelli, but then he admitted it was really Phaedra. And because it was him and he has family in Athens and his sister went to school with Phaedra's brother, so there was that connect. So to me, Angela just felt like it must be Phaedra, but I don't think Angela set it up. I don't. I think the gay man got lucky and with a newbie who don't realize how much fans and messy people will come to the DMs or whatever and give them information that ain't really true to cause discourse. And now I think Drew being involved was crazy because Drew should know better. But she's like, he told me, he said it was Phaedra. I think he's lying. I do. But it could also be Phaedra. I just don't think that Angela set it up. I think either one of two things happened. Either it was Phaedra, who was trying to be messy, because producers told her, hey, we need, look, this produced the same way producers allegedly told Phaedra back in season 9 some stuff that got her off the show. It could be possible that they said, you know what, we need you to come in hitting, okay, cause some chaos, to get us some good ratings. And she, I already feel like Charles don't admit to who his wife is. I don't know he's married. Maybe I'll have someone say that he's cheating. I don't know. But a part of me don't feel like it don't make sense for that to have been Angela's set up. That's stupid. That's dumb. I think either Phaedra really did do this shit because she's messy, or the messy gay man came on being a messy gay man. Child, either way, nigga, we don't care. Okay. Angela and Charles was married. I think Charles is gonna have a new podcast called come up. Is it called Banned or Blocked? Somebody be. But part one of this reunion, it wasn't boring, but I feel like they jumped from topic to topic to topic because I think they were thrown off because Britt did not show up, and I think a lot of the things they were going to discuss was stuff that Britt said. But again, to me, it was more of Porsha feet being held firmly to the fire. Kay and Angela and Drew and Kelly and Shamia not letting her off. And even when at one point when Drew was trying to go at Shamia, say, girl, go over there on Portia's lap. Go lap dog, go. She's like, no. We don't have no issue. Because now Shamia is not trying to defend Porsha as she used to. But she don't realize, girl, the British you burns is embers. You know what I'm saying? Now there is a clear divide between Porsha and Shamia. And Shamia trying to call Porsha out again, saying it was an alliance with the four. Okay. Because I felt like we all gotta bring it. And Porsha denying it. Yes, Porsha, you lying, you was involved. Yes, you were. Oh, I didn't introduce her and Simon. And Porsha kind of not agreeing with that. But no, she didn't introduce us. But I think Porsha lying. It's a mess. So we'll see what happens the next episode. when Angela said she feel like Phaedra set up the rumor because Phaedra wanted to, be guaranteed to come back next season. And when Phaedra, I was already get, I already got the season. I feel like that wasn't her. That wasn't Angela saying she came in trying to make herself look good to come back next season. I think her point was she wanted something to happen for us to discuss next season, and then Van brings her back next season. So, but again, child, but next season's gonna probably be Angela versus Porsha. I'm sorry, Angela versus Phaedra. But Phaedra gave nothing this season. This season, this reunion, but she was like, "I did not do this. It wasn't me. Why would I do that? I don't be lying. Yes, you do. You've lied on Porsha, allegedly. Anyway, y'all, please make sure, okay, to do what? Like, subscribe, and share. Okay. Y'all make sure to subscribe and follow on IG and Twitter, TikTok at Jaylee's Corner. Comment in the comment section. I will be live tonight at 9 o'clock, probably. It's been a crazy week, y'all. But I hope y'all enjoyed this. I gotta go. Okay. Bye.